goes live in 3 minutes. Lynn Cullen goes live in 2 minutes. Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Yeah, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Yesterday was Tuesday, and that's usually when Susan comes on, but we had Daniel Bull, and it was the only day he could join us. And so we flip-flopped, and Susan joins us on a Wednesday. I wonder what that will do.
I don't know. I'm totally confused.
I know. We're all mixed up. Here's the thing. You don't have to work out afterwards.
No, but
Yeah.
here's the thing. My trainer stood me up yesterday, so yesterday was just like a total bust.
Aww.
Yeah, I
don't
know.
like
I was depressed.
Annoyed. Depressed,
because
annoyed.
yesterday was like my pleasant workout.
So here, I've got a, okay. I have a little bit, I have to say this. I screwed up. I know. I'm trying to read an email at the same time I'm talking, which doesn't work. I screwed up already today. When I drove downtown, and when I got here, I was getting out of the car, and I thought, geez, things seem lighter. And then I realized they were lighter because I left what passes for a briefcase with all my clippings, thoughts, ideas.
You're kidding? Oh, you really have. I'm sorry.
I
have
have
an appointment I forgot about.
I am here like God made me. I am like a newborn. I've got no crutches. I can't look down and say, well, so-and-so said, or I can't read you anything. And no, I left all of it.
Can you remember any of what it was?
Yes, I can, and that's what I did. I wrote down. I have a little piece of paper, and I thought, okay, what was in there. I wrote down, but, there were I had highlighted things that that maybe somebody said something that I wanted, and damn it, geez, I hate screwing up like that. Anyway.
Well, welcome to being human.
Yeah. So
you did send me that interesting little piece in the Cardinal Newman, which cracks me up because, well, first of all, you understand that that's about as right-wing a Catholic publication as.
Okay, let's let people
as exists. Okay,
right. Let in on what we're talking about. I was reading last night and I came upon a article. I don't know where the hell I came upon it. And
I assume you were not. It was probably in some list of things because you weren't reading the Cardinal Newman.
No, I wasn't. But somebody sent me in that direction, and I clicked on it, and it turns out there was this article, and it's almost a year old. It's from April of last year, and it was an invective. I mean, just this screed against Gloria Steinem. And the fact that a Catholic university, St. Norbert College, had welcomed her to their campus, in which she gave a speech that was, pro-abortion and all this stuff. So, I mean, I understand all that. But I felt like I had a personal connection because our mother, and I told you this, I have a picture of my mom and Gloria Steinem that was taken, I guess, that same.
Yeah, immediately prior to that event.
Okay, at a dinner before.
At a dinner before the event.
Right. So I know my mom was there, and this, from my mother's description of the event, and then from this, oh my God! Now you see. You remember the Land's End brouhaha, where a new editor took over the Land's End catalog and their spring catalog, and they had in it a 1-page or 2-page profile of Gloria Steinem. Why? I don't know. But they thought it would be interesting. Abortion is never mentioned, blah, blah, blah. It's just Gloria Steinem, yada, yada, yada. Incredible woman. And all hell broke loose. People saying, I'll never purchase another thing from your damn company. How dare you? So Gloria Steinem, who knew, is like as toxic to some people's sensibility as,
well,
I
but
guess,
let me interrupt.
Hillary
that was only phase 1 of the Land's End story. Phase 2, when they caved.
They caved immediately.
Was a much larger backlash.
Right.
Against caving. And so, I mean.
Well, I'm done with them. Anyway.
Yeah, I was, you know something, I have to say, I was done with them a long time ago.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's true. It's just not my style. It's not my style. But, yeah. So anyway.
Well, and it wasn't only Gloria Steinem, it was Bell Hook, who
is her friend.
Who is an extraordinarily accomplished, published feminist herself. And what my daughter, who is very familiar with her work, found the most interesting is that she is a frequent guest lecturer at St. Norbert's, and she's there all the time.
Well, right, which is what, and she's friends with Gloria, and it's why Gloria, I think she pretty much lives in Green Bay. So it's why, who knows? Anyway, to see another, I did want, that was one of the things in my, I mean, the bishop going nuts, it really was something. Gloria Steinem? Excuse me? Big deal? I don't know. I now remember why. I don't quite remember why, no. I went looking for something about the president of St. Norbert College, Tom Kunkel. The reason being that Donald Trump is going to be at St. Norbert College today. Yes. And there was this is right outside of Green Bay. And our family has an association with St. Norbert College. And my father established a Peace and Justice Center there, and the family sponsors lectures throughout the year. And Tom Kunkel, the president, is a wonderful guy. And anyway, apparently he's under attack for letting Trump come to the campus. It seems like no matter what you do, Trump is certainly not Gloria Steinem, but it's like nobody. Why don't people want to allow people with different points of view to appear on a university campus? When did we get to this point where you're
can only
outraged?
Hear what you agree with.
Yes.
And why isn't education about hearing opposing views and differing views so that maybe you can have enough information to form your own educated opinion? I feel the same way about schools like Washington University, who it's satisfying to think that they kept Phyllis Schlafly from speaking there, but it's wrong.
It's wrong. This is wrong. It was wrong. We have got to get back to being able to understanding what our First Amendment's about.
Right.
If you only respect the views and the speech of people whose views and speech you find palatable, well, that's no First Amendment. The First Amendment is about speech you find unpalatable and saying, you go ahead, speak. Everyone has this right in our country. And when lefties start shutting down speech, I really get pissed off. I'm used to I don't know. I think we're as bad.
Lefties are every bit as bad.
And
in this regard.
In fact, lefties might be worse. Yeah. You know what? I'm just thinking. The left now is worse.
Yeah. Well, and I think, for example, let's go back to the University of Missouri, where the journalism professor is smashing the journalism student in the face and telling him and screaming for muscle to get the Fourth Estate out of their.
Yeah.
And they fired her.
Yes.
And people are upset that they fired her. And the way I'm thinking of, you don't fire her because she exercised her First Amendment rights. You fire her because she's incompetent.
Because if she's teaching journalism, we're in trouble.
She doesn't know what she's doing. She's incompetent.
Yeah. Yeah. Dorothea just sent me something that the NFL is demanding that the New York Times retract a story that I think was printed
a couple days ago about how they used deliberately false information to
on the concussion, and they likened it, of course, to Big Tobacco's response to the dangers of cigarettes, where they funded faulty research and put forward faulty research. And we know that the Times story is absolutely correct, but the NFL got its lawyers to write the lawyer for the New York Times and said that the NFL had been defamed by the New York Times.
And that's called,
that's a threat. That's a threat.
That's a slap suit. That's a threat of a slap suit.
What's a slap suit?
Well, it's not a slap suit unless they file.
What's slap?
Slap, S-L-A-P.
Yeah.
A slap suit is when a powerful person or company or organization can threaten
a
lawsuit to quiet a reasonable complaint.
Yeah, but that's the New York Times is no little entity.
No, but when you use words like defame, it's like we're going to sue you if you keep saying that, and that is I mean, they might be equal in power, but that's the whole point. That's what a slap suit would be if they were to file.
All right. So the NFL, of course, the New York Times said, "You're kidding me. We ain't retracting a damn thing." But so anyway, so the NFL, despicable. Did we finish our last subject? Yeah, about free speech, kind of, sort of. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
we did.
so
although we can segue it over to Donald Trump, who, exercising his free speech, says he will no longer support a nominee in the Republican Party.
Well, the other two essentially said the same thing. I mean, so big deal. I mean,
well, so what we know about all of them is that when they solemnly pledge to do something,
they don't mean it.
They don't mean it.
No, you can't take them at their
I mean, we might have known that anyway, but
right.
Here's proof positive.
Right, that their word means nothing.
Right.
But speaking of Trump, I want to stay on that for a while. I want to stay on how, media now, aware of the criticism they've been giving Trump a free ride, are now piling on him with the same gusto that they had once said, "Oh, look at this," and frankly, I want to just rip CNN's throat out. Lewandowski, Trump's campaign manager, who has been charged with now I would have my little paper here. I would know the exact
charge. He's been charged with the misdemeanor battery.
Misdemeanor battery. We have all seen the video, a few videos, a few times, and then you hear Cruz and others. I mean, a CNN ad on some forensic guy who specializes in looking at surveillance tapes, and he says, without a doubt, it shows that this woman was assaulted in some measure, and I'm looking at, Susan, I have looked at that tape about, I don't know, 15, 20 times. I keep looking. I've walked up to the TV, and so I'm seeing they slow it down, and I look at I am sorry. If what I see on that tape qualifies as a crime of any sort, then that, to me, is an absurdity.
Well, it is a misdemeanor battery if he grabbed her arm and pulled her away, which, in fact, he did.
I just want to say, in the rough and tumble game of journalism and politics, in a scrum such as that, being grabbed and pulled away is part and parcel of I'm speaking as a former female journalist who was in those situations, and I got
frequently news people who were pulling you out of the way
so
they
right.
could get in front of you.
Well, that's right. It's rough and tumble. I was punched. I was shoved to my knees in front of Jimmy Carter. Famous.
I remember you interviewing his penis.
That's pretty much what happened. Oh, is that awful? One of the most humiliating moments of my life. But if that means I was a victim. I had been assaulted that day. Funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was always just a very funny story. I did not think of it as a criminal act. I am so sick.
But part of it is that when one of their guys just sort of took out the reporter a few weeks ago,
that's not the same as this.
No, but
if
they
that
don't
video
do anything
shows
about that one, so now they're doing something about this one. I find what I'm finding more horrifying is, and I have to say that I can't even tolerate it. I'm really not watching it either. But Dancing with the Stars.
No, you can't watch that.
No, you can't watch it, but Dancing with the Stars had, Geraldo Rivera.
Pretending to be Donald Trump, because I saw it on Twitter.
And then they've got Trump's second wife. So the whole thing is constant Trump references.
Right.
And I'm going, who paid you to do this?
Well, Susan, it doesn't matter. The news division, the entertainment division, all of it, everybody, it's Trump, Trump, Trump all the time. And what media have always done is they love to, suck off somebody like Trump, build him up, which they've done, until the criticism of their behavior gets so intense that they then start going the other way and trying to be part of the taking him down. I am so sick of this cynical exercise as it applies to him, as it applies to all these other celebrities they bring up and then take down.
Well, it's because it's not a serious endeavor anymore. It's because it's entertainment, not news. It's not a serious endeavor. If it ever was, there used to be places to go to for serious information. And
there still are.
There still are. I mean, you can read, like, The Economist.
You can read The Atlantic. You can read, come on. There's some good journalism going on.
There is, but you have to seek it out and pay prettily for it.
Pay what?
Prettily. It's expensive.
Oh, prettily. Yeah. So anyway, I hate being on Trump's side on this one, but I'm on Trump's side on this one.
Well, I am. I'm just sort of on the side of let's level the playing field for everybody, and for him and for everybody else. You can't pile on him. You can't just stop. Stop it. Just report.
They can't. It's wow. And this woman, the reporter. I'm sorry. First of all, she's a reporter for the most noxious, disgusting journalistic organ that exists, practically, which takes some doing, and that's Breitbart News.
Oh, my God.
That's where this fine journalist was from. And Breitbart is a huge supporter of Trump.
Of Cruz.
Trump.
He's a Trump?
I think so. Trump. Whatever. That's why Breitbart didn't sort of stick with her when she complained about her treatment, and they said she was, making a mountain out of a molehill, and then she resigned. And then they
told her to stop acting like a girl.
Yeah, and then some other people at Breitbart who weren't even girls, they resigned as well, taking her side that they thought Breitbart should stand with her on this issue. But I seriously, I look at this, I look at that tape, and I'm thinking, I've been elbowed, I've been pushed.
Excuse me, go stand on a subway.
Yes! What? I mean, okay, when you get off the subway, why don't they have a little police station right there at every subway stop so you can get off the subway and charge the guy standing next to you with this same assault? I mean, come on. And I have to admit, I don't even buy that those bruises are from that. I really don't. I don't buy any of it. I don't trust her. I think this Lewandowski is a despicable snake. You know what I think of Trump. But if that is now something, this could take the Trump machine down because the tape shows this egregious crime being committed or something. Come on. She was doing something that she wasn't supposed to do. They know the rules. The candidate had taken questions for a long, long time. She continued to dog him. And as Trump said, and it's true, she had her hand on his arm. How's that not assault? If all it takes is having your hand where the other party doesn't want it. What bullshit. And now we have to, look at this tape like something terrible is happening on it. I have to say, I don't see any crime there at all. And if that's a crime, that's a crime. That's crap. Excuse me. I really am.
And now we have the 15-year-old girl that was pepper sprayed at the Trump rally. My in Green Bay, I think, or somewhere in Wisconsin.
It wasn't Green Bay, I don't think.
And
but who
she might be charged for punching a guy that she claimed groped her.
I wish everybody would just go away, okay?
I think everybody should stay home.
Yeah, stay home.
I really do. Just stay
If you
home.
can't, I don't know.
Let these people do what they will. Hold your nose, and in November, go vote. I will say I am very amused by sections of my family that are so freaked by Donald Trump that one of my brother-in-laws now refuses to call himself a Republican, period.
Good.
Yeah, I'm amazed.
Good.
I mean, these are really diehards.
Well, I was with a more moderate Republican guy the other night, and I said, "So what do you think of your great party now?" He says it's just so embarrassing. He said,
well, my favorite part is how they're gonna is the petition to allow guns into the Republican convention. I mean, talk about being hoist on your own petard.
Yeah, but that, as you know, that's been shot down by the Secret Service. Of course, it would be. Okay, we got some emails to catch up with. Lynn Colette writes, on the other hand, Trump wants to sue her for touching his arm. Well, yes, you wrote that before I said my. Yeah, he is saying what I would say in that case. Wait a minute. If Lewandowski can get arrested for putting his arm on her arm, what about the fact that he was doing it because she had her hand on my arm? Now, whatever.
Well, that's how he doesn't get convicted of the misdemeanor offense.
He's not going to be. This is bullshit.
It is.
And this passes for, oh, God, serious journalism, a presidential campaign. I don't know. Ray writes, ladies, I have a question for the gender identity police and modern feminists. Okay. There we go. As soon as you said gender identity police, Celine's head went up. Are you the gender identity police? No, but she's on the neighborhood watch team. No, Celine doesn't have a sense of humor on these issues. So,
okay, sorry for you.
Constant vigilance.
Ah, jeez. Everybody take a deep breath and fucking relax. Okay, ladies, I have a question for the gender identity police and modern feminists. I probably have a few too, right? Anyway, scenario. Trump picks Caitlyn Jenner as his vice presidential candidate.
Come on. It has to be a reasonable thing.
Okay, Susan refuses to read any more of
your question. because Trump wouldn't do that.
Shall we play it anyway?
Okay.
Trump picks Caitlyn Jenner as his VP candidate. They win. Trump dies 2 months into office. Caitlyn Jenner becomes the president of the United States. Question. Is President Jenner the first woman president?
Yes.
Yep.
Would you consider this a triumph for the feminist movement?
No.
Both Celine and Susan have responded in the same way. Yes to the first.
Yes.
No.
To the second.
Yeah.
But there are several women that would be the first president that I would not feel would be a great moment for women. Like, for example, Phyllis Schlafly.
Yeah,
For example, Sarah Palin.
Oh.
For example, here's the thing. I'm not looking at Hillary as a woman or at Bernie as a man or as Trump as a man. I'm looking at these people as
presidents.
As potential presidents.
Yeah.
Period. And the day that we come to that, that's when we have gender equality.
I was reading something apropos, I guess, of Ray's thing about, this North Carolina law that the governor there signed that essentially says that if you're a North Carolinian and you are creeped out by
same sex, you don't have to bake them a wedding cake.
No, you don't have to have them work for you. You don't have to, anything. Transgender, forget about it. You can just, you
can just say no.
And it's because we value your religion, which allows you to discriminate, I guess. So anyway, whatever. And somebody pointed out how so often issues of gender equality immediately bump into and bathroom. That's what stops them. Bathroom is where people go to say, well, we can't. Think of the bathroom. Do you remember the Equal Rights Amendment? The ERA.
That's what stopped it. You couldn't have men and women bathrooms.
That's what stopped it. People everybody can relate to, I guess, being in a public bathroom and having someone of the opposite sex come in.
Let me just remind you, I'm sure I've told the story about my friend Joan and I in Paris going to an art museum. And we, both being women of a certain age, we had to pee. And we go into the bathroom. And it was urinals on one side, stalls on the other, everybody in there.
Yeah.
And, of course, I have to admit, we were both so shocked we turned around and went out.
Americans.
But obviously, in other places, nobody cares about this stuff.
Well,
bodily functions are bodily functions, and that's just how it is. There was a room full of men and women all doing their business, nobody paying attention to anybody else.
Well, not in America.
Well, and the answer to all of this is stalls.
Yeah.
Just stalls.
Yeah.
And you've got your privacy.
But Jesus, God.
No, it's
the ERA
it's
amendment
offensive.
failed because of toilets.
Because we're Puritans.
Right.
Because none of us can pee in public anyway. So just go before you leave home.
And so the So Georgia's law was about that. It was about bathrooms,
but
and then the governor.
But they have such a big movie and television business. They stood up and said, "We won't come back," and so the governor vetoed the law.
Yeah, the governor vetoed the law because he's term limited, doesn't have to ever run again, which gave him some spine. But also, that veto will get overridden.
Well, if it does, I sure hope that all of those places come to a place, and give the state that is nicer to them the money.
North Carolina has already seen people and organizations pull out of conventions that they were going to have. The NBA is saying they might not hold, I can't remember, in 2 years, something there. So this is what it does hit them in the pocketbook.
Well, it's like Missouri. There was an article published about Missouri in my old hometown paper about how Missouri now derives fully 25% of its gross national product of the state from federal money. Most of that being Social Security, which says that their workers are leaving in droves. Their business is leaving in droves. And, why do we think that is? It might be because the legislature is doing nothing except making up rules about women's bodies and stem cells and what universities can teach and what the University of Missouri can do and cutting funds to. That's all they do.
I know.
And the population is leaving in droves.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, the young people are going. They're going where the jobs are. If you can't retain your young people, then what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, can I talk about the duck I saw yesterday?
You can tell us about the ducky you saw yesterday.
Okay, because what's so cute about this is that I was lying in bed, and there was a big cacophony outside. I mean, admittedly, my cats were out. And there were two cardinals that were going in a very tight circle chasing each other. Must have gone on I couldn't believe it. I mean,
mating dance.
Wow. No, but they both looked like females to me. I was so mixed.
Well, then that was a stay away from my man dance.
Or it was lesbian cardinals. I don't know what it was, but it was a riot. And I was transfixed. So I'm watching the cardinals go bzz, 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 and for easily 5-10 minutes. And then I'm so into the birds and I'm hearing bird calls left and right. And then I hear this one that just sounded very jarring. There was nothing pretty about it. I thought, what the heck is that? And then and I thought, what's that? What bird is that? And then all of a sudden I realized, is quack. I thought, it's a duck. What's a duck doing?
Was he in your pond?
No, my pond is covered up in it. Then I remembered.
And when I say her pond, people, it's more like a puddle. But
it's my puddle, right? Which is why no. But there's a larger.
There's a 3-foot water feature. Go ahead.
I love it though.
Yeah.
So I remembered then. I thought, oh my God, I wonder if the ducks are back. And I have a picture that I took 2 years ago, standing on the retaining wall between my house and my neighbor's house, because I had heard ducks. And I'd gotten up to say, ducks? What's going on? And I'd looked over the fence, and they do have a swimming pool, a lap pool. It's not open. It's the cover's on it, but it's filled with water, rainwater and snow melt and stuff like that, and leaves. And 2 years ago, I look over the fence, and there's 2 ducks, a couple, and they're floating around on that. And I thought, that is so funny. I took a picture thinking I'd show it to the owners when they got back from, warmer climes that they go to. And so I went to look yesterday when I heard quack, and damn, they're there again. So there is this duck couple, right? That on their way back home stop over
at your neighbor's house it's like their Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah. Isn't that cute? There they were again.
It's only cute if they go on.
Well,
it's not cute if they decide that they want to live in your swimming pool.
No, but they wouldn't. But they won't. And they didn't stay long. They rest there for a while, and they obviously are going farther north, I would think. But that I must have missed them last year because, man, I can't tell you for sure, but it sure looked like the same couple. And
they do that. They go to the same places.
Well, how cute that they would, flying over a city, see one. It's not much of a little pond to go on. It really is not. It's not a full swimming pool.
The he duck is saying, I know this cute little place. And the she duck is going, let's go back to our little B&B. Nobody else knows about it.
That's right. Although there's sometimes those damn cats from the house next door. and that is what the quacking was about, because I looked over the fence, and there's one of my cats, and he's looking at him, and the duck was going, well, not moving, and believe me, no. And so as soon as Dylan saw me up on the fence, he came running home. So anyway, it was a very bird-like morning with the cardinals, and then that. Okay. I thought that was so cute.
Very cute.
All right. So,
okay, you got 25 minutes left. Can you think of anything else?
Oh, sure. I haven't even. Okay.
By the way, I just want to say this, totally not on any subject except yesterday, that I listened to your show yesterday, and I thought Mr. Bull was really something.
Mm-hmm. I thought, wow, what a story. He was a jerk. He was a son of a bitch who took money from his friends, his family, and lied to them about what he was doing.
He was so afraid of failure that that's what it drove him to.
I guess.
Yeah.
And then, but for him, a young guy, he's 20, he's younger than your kids. He comes out of that prison and he's changed, and he realizes he had been so privileged, and he totally squandered the privileges he had. And he saw all these people in prison who never had any privileges. And they still had ambition and ideas. And it's amazing that he just took it and ran with it. He did something with it. And, very impressive.
He was capable of growth, and good for him. I just found the whole thing very, very compelling and interesting.
Yeah,
so
I did.
Just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Yeah, I did too. I'd read a piece on him, and I thought, oh wow, and yeah, very compelling. So, Susan, a local story here that I was part of my stash that I failed to bring to the studio. You know how much I hate the largest employer in town, UPMC, University
No,
of
I've
Pittsburgh.
never heard you mention it, but go ahead.
UPMC, which is the largest by far employer in Western Pennsylvania. It might even be the largest in Pennsylvania. I don't know. It employs 62,000 people. And it's hard to know anybody in Pittsburgh who is not, connected somehow to UPMC. Anyway, there's been a long effort on the part of the lowest of the low in their employment picture. The people who clean up, the janitors, the people who take, patients from place to place. They've been attempting to unionize, and they've been demanding an increase, living wage. Essentially, is what they've been said. They can't live. They're on welfare. They work full time at UPMC and have to go to the food bank. And there have been a lot of protests. There have been sit-ins. As a matter of fact, my rabbi was arrested at UPMC's headquarters, a block or two from here, as being part of one of these demonstrations asking for a living wage. So anyway, UPMC announces yesterday that they are increasing their minimum wage to $15 an hour by, who knows, you hear that and you think, yay, and then it turns out by, 2050, by 2000, I think in a few years. And I thought, fantastic, it worked. And then here's why I regret not having my stuff. 3 paragraphs into the story, a spokesman, I guess the head of their HR, said that this had absolutely nothing to do with any outside pressure. We felt no pressure. I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it here. We felt no pressure. And that made me go nuts. I thought, even when UPMC does the right thing, raising...
It has to be their idea.
They have to be obnoxious. They have to discount. They did it, and they have to slap back the very people who are going to see that increase. All the work they've done, all they ever said had nothing to do with it. Now, I mean, it
makes you wonder why they feel the need to adopt that corporate attitude,
but
that
they
can't be wrong, that they can't learn, that they can't improve.
You know what? They're like the Donald Trump of hospitals. It's like, never apologize. We're never wrong. We are the biggest. We're huge. I mean, that's it. UPMC is like Donald Trump. And they double down. And they will never. They have decided that their public, that they'll be jerks. I mean, why would you make a choice to be a jerk? When you could have said, there's no way. We're happy that blah, blah, blah. In fact, it could well be that by doing this, strategically, they take the wind out of the sails of the union.
By treating the opponent, in this case, with a modicum of respect,
yes,
you might gain a whole lot more than it costs you. And that they can't understand that is amazing.
I don't know.
What they're saying is, we'll give you an inch, but don't you look at that mile.
God almighty. So, excuse me, I want to thank Atten and Scalia for dropping dead when he did. Because,
save the union.
Speaking of unions, wow, that was a surefire loss.
Yes.
For public employee unions.
Well, that's fine. Let's just keep the court 4-4, shall we?
Yeah, but see, it worked in it all depends then. You don't want these lower court rulings necessarily to stand.
No. But if the other side can lose a few first.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, it's a tough way to lose because they knew they'd won. And then Scalia dropped dead. And then they refused to who knows where Garland would have gone on this. He's such a moderate, you don't even know. So.
No, you don't know.
No.
I mean, this is a good Supreme Court candidate. I mean, there is nobody that says anything bad about him. And in any normal time, he should just have been boom, 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 right through. And you don't know precisely what makes him a good
Is you're not sure
is
where
that
he'd be.
he's not political. You don't know
Right.
how he would have done this.
But come to think of it, I don't think he would have voted on this.
He might not because
no, because he was
wasn't
not
there
around for the argument. If he's not
No.
there for the argument, he wouldn't have.
No.
So it just was doomed to be 4-4, but that means the appeals court ruling stands. Yee-haw! So that was a lot of celebration on the labor front yesterday, and toasting of Antonin Scalia shuffling off his mortal coil at the time that he did. And now, I want to talk...
Speaking of death.
Yes?
I just want to note in passing
Patty Duke?
Patty Duke.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that I want to bring it up is because I hadn't seen her or been aware of her in the last, say, 10, 15 years.
Right.
But I just loved the way she allowed herself to be a 69-year-old woman.
Yeah, she looks like... I know. I
was
know.
totally untouched and quite beautiful.
Yeah, she was still lovely, but she looked like the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was really something.
Well, nothing. I mean, the miracle worker, her performance...
Do you remember that performance? I still remember that performance as a child. So...
We saw it in New York, right?
Yes, we did.
So we
and I remember just being spellbound by
couldn't
this
believe it.
child like me.
Well, the fight scenes, the wrestling. I mean, I thought it's a wonder they didn't get Anne Bancroft and she didn't hurt each other. I mean, maybe they did.
They did.
You want to see bruises? I think, there would have been bruises aplenty. But yeah, we were lucky enough to be in New York on a family vacation, I guess, and saw The Miracle Worker with Patty Duke and
Anne Bancroft.
Bancroft. Incredible.
We saw some wonderful things, and there's some of my only really vivid memories of my childhood are that and Richard Burton in Hamlet.
Richard Burton in Hamlet. And there was a big crowd afterwards because Liz would come to pick him up at the stage door.
Yeah.
Hume Cronin was Polonius. Yeah. And we also saw, God, tickets were so much cheaper then. Can you imagine? No,
but
Dad taking us to all those things. And we
I'm
saw
just saying
Gypsy.
To you, I was a very young girl, and these were...
They were huge. We saw Gypsy.
Memories.
We saw Gypsy with...
Yes.
I'm thinking Ethel Merman.
I think we did see Gypsy with Ethel Merman, yes.
Well, she came down the aisle at the beginning of the play,
she sure did.
Squawking and screaming, and walked right by us. And we saw one more, Susan. My God. I think we went to 4 plays. And we saw Fiorello.
Yes. Oh, which I loved.
Yeah.
And I never understood why Fiorello was not one of those things that came back and back and back, because I loved Fiorello.
It's so cute about, obviously, the New York mayor, Fiorello LaGuardia. And it's focused on the time of the newspaper strike. Yeah? Yeah. And where, he famously read the comics on the radio and other such stuff. Yeah. Wow. We really, all that stuff, those were huge memories for both of us. Huge.
I don't remember them all being the same trip, but they must have been, because it's the only time we did it.
No, but why would we have gone to 4 plays?
It might have been 2 different trips.
Had to have been. I think one must have been on the infamous trip to bury our brother's libido.
Right. Where Mother got shat on upon us in Central Park.
Right. And I think the other would have been returning from
I think
Europe.
It was returning from my bat mitzvah trip.
To Europe.
Yeah.
That trip was for your bat mitzvah?
Yeah.
Wait
Which,
a
by
minute.
the way, I'm still slightly pissed off about, I have to tell you.
Wait a minute.
Because that was my bat mitzvah present,
That
and
wasn't-
the whole family got it.
Listen, your two siblings, neither wanted to be on it. It was no pleasure.
We left Bill in Israel.
Yeah,
and
Bill decamped. He left us at breakfast one day, and Israel said, "Goodbye, I'm leaving," and went off and lived on a kibbutz for a year. And we kept going. And Susan, I was always under the impression that trip, I think they got a twofer. As you recall, I was a rather unhappy teenager.
Who, you?
And I was seeing, I believe, the only psychiatrist in Green Bay.
Yeah, and using the term loosely, yes.
He was.
Yes.
And who we should have filed a malpractice suit against. And he apparently, my understanding was, he told Mom and Dad that he thought, get her out of here, take a trip. I think they killed two birds with one stone.
Well, so we can both be...
I remember Susan, I so
thinking,
didn't
wait a minute, why is this my bat mitzvah?
Yeah, well, I don't know, because they were doing it and it fell about the time of your bat mitzvah, because you know how that goes. I remember we got to London. I've never been in London. I was so furious at being, imprisoned. And even if I were in London, I remember sitting in the cab with my eyes closed. And
refusing to look at anything.
Yes, right. And Mom saying things like, "Oh, look at that!" And what a lovely trip that must have been for Mom and Dad. I think
they were used to totally ignoring us by then. I mean, the miracle that they ever took us on family vacations after, like, the first 2 or 3. Although it was good bonding for the three of us, because we would always unite together against them.
Oh, God, it was horrific. I was almost raped by an Israeli soldier, and then I was almost seduced by an Italian elevator boy. You remember that? And
I remember him.
Mario. He had white gloves, and he was peeling them off one finger at a time.
Well, not me. I was in my infamously awkward stage.
Yes, but I was a hot 16-year-old babe.
Yeah, you were.
And I was acting out. Oh, God. And then on the ship going back. Oh, Susan. Oh, what a horror. What a nightmare! What a friggin' nightmare. That was your bat mitzvah present?
Yeah.
Jesus, God, I would demand
I still
to
resent it.
No, I don't blame you. God.
Because guess what? It wasn't a lot of fun.
No. But you did get that great picture out of it. There's a picture of Susan, me, and my mom after we left my brother on this kibbutz where he cleaned chicken anuses for a year.
Which, just to show you how our family vacations went, was infinitely preferable.
Yeah, right. He said, "Sorry, I don't want to go on with you guys. I'm going to go and clean chicken anuses on this poultry farm." Yeah. So there's a picture. I don't know if we ever talked about this. Did we ever post this picture, Susan?
Oh, you should.
Do you have it?
Oh, sure. I should be able to find it someplace. I'll email it to you.
There is a picture.
You have it, too.
Oh, wait, I do. I think somebody sent. Yeah, your daughter sent it to me.
Right.
So we have a picture taken in Florence on the
Ponte
Vecchio, the beautiful bridge there, with the sun setting behind us. And it's my mother my sister, and I guess Dad must have taken the picture. And to us, this picture is iconic. Susan, would you like to explain why?
Well, yes, it is Mother looking absolutely beautiful in the middle. You looking sort of, aside from your perfect flip.
Oh, it was horrible.
You're looking quite Mona Lisa-like beautiful yourself.
Oh no, I'm not. I think I look
to Mother's right, but not as good looking as Mother.
No, I think I look like this geek.
Yeah, and then to the left is this little short rhesus monkey. That would be me.
And she ain't kidding. Oh man!
I'm not kidding. It's exactly what I look like. With this god awful haircut that Mother used to impose on me, a little pixie, and years later, I think it was Mom, Leah, and me went back and took the same picture, and the same thing happened again.
Well, she still looked better than
Mother was the most beautiful, and Leah was the second most beautiful, and there was me looking like a rhesus monkey.
Oh, stop. Monkey. No, you were not looking at me, but in that picture, you do look like a rhesus monkey. She has braces,
and
glasses,
you guys all used
a horrible...
to torture me. And my husband used to torture me with it, so finally, in defiance, I hung it in my home.
She had it on the wall. Yeah, I loved it.
That was me.
She had it on the wall.
I had it on the wall because I love it.
There's something so funny about it. But that was but
it's that way no one could blackmail me about it anymore.
I think I was fresh from my assignation with the elevator boy. Because it was... If there's a certain glow about my cheeks in it, I look like a dork. Are you kidding? That hair?
Well, you would spend thousands of hours on.
I know.
For heaven's sakes.
And then don't I have some friggin' bow stuck in the middle on my...
I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay.
No bow.
No bow. Okay.
But
yeah.
You got it. Feel free to post it. I have put it out there myself. and as a lesson to young girls everywhere that
this too shall pass.
You'll go through it, and then you'll come out the other end. It'll be okay.
Oh, God. Oh, dear. So, wait a minute. Why aren't I getting this, though?
Why aren't you getting what?
Your
email?
Yeah. I mean, it's got an attachment that I can't seem to open. Wait a minute.
Is it Arlie sending you the picture?
No. This is... Oh, God, guys. I can't... I don't think I can get at it. I'm sorry. I will later, and this is from Josie, who says, I share your sentiments about UPMC, and she had sent along a letter that she had sent to the head of UPMC Presby, and she said, as I stated in the letter, I am sharing this with everyone I know. I love your show and have enjoyed listening to you for many years. Well, it's like, my experience at UPMC Presby was a nightmare. But then my experience at West Penn, which is part of the opposite, other
we just
system.
have to figure out a way to keep you out of hospitals.
Well, I think everybody, I am now so fearful of the medical establishment. I am so fearful of doctors, of hospitals, of anything they're peddling. I just don't think anything works anymore.
No, I'm scared too. I just, I don't go near the folks.
No, I'm starting to get a little more like that. I really am. I can't do this. I don't trust them anymore. Barbara writes, what? Oh, my memory of Patty Duke. This is from 1986. It's a video, The Lamaze Method. It's narrated by Patty Duke. And it comes the closest to containing a complete Lamaze course, but was designed only as a supplement to regular classes. And so Patty Duke also narrated a Lamaze video.
Well, she did lots of stuff.
She was bipolar.
She was bipolar, which, when you think back to the stuff where she played identical cousins, except one was one way and one was the other.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she was able to inhabit that
Well,
role.
she had a really, I didn't realize that, I knew she was a child actor, but her parents just sort of gave her to her agents.
Right, who abused her.
And she had a sort of Judy Garland sort of situation where they were giving her pills and alcohol from the time that she was 13.
Right.
So that she...
And she said sexually abusing her and stealing her money.
Yeah.
And, that she came out in one piece at all is beyond belief. And
is beyond belief. Not only came out in one piece, but sort of fixed by the end of her unfortunately too short life. She had really pulled it all together, and had done that for like the last 25 years of her life. What she said is life is okay.
Yeah. So
a lesson to us all. It just there's been a lot of these lessons that you take what life gives you, you take the mistakes that you've made, and you keep. You don't have a choice. You might as well do it well.
Keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward. Keep looking for the light, for the positive. Just go.
And speaking of that, let me end on a negative, Susan.
Okay, good.
This has two, and I remembered all these. There were two, sort of environmental kinds of stories in the news today.
Yeah.
One was about that now the chance of a really nasty earthquake is as great in Kansas and Oklahoma because of fracking as it is in California on the San Andreas friggin' fault.
Yeah,
so that is, mankind, our ability to just keep fucking up. What used to be an earthquake was only a natural occurrence. Not if we can help it. Not if we can help it. So Kansas, that maybe saw 3 earthquakes in a average year, and they were little teeny ones, now has hundreds. And this all has to do with fracking. Also, the other story was this is the month when Arctic sea ice is at its peak. And
there ain't any.
There is, I believe, 15%. No, it's not 15. It was worse. It was something like, oh, damn. I'm not sure, but it was a frightening...
A distressing percentage less.
Than it was, like 5 years ago. Like mind-blowing. Maybe it was 65%. I don't know. It was something that what? Jeez. So, we're something.
Yep, we are.
Let's drink to us. And our great caretaking of the earth that we find ourselves on.
Right.
So there you go. Well, see, Suze, we made it through.
We did. Well, I had no doubt.
I know. And I'll try not to do that again. I'm glad you were here.
Don't do that again.
No,
okay.
no. So great talking to you. I'll see you Saturday.
You'll see me on Saturday, right?
Great. Okay. All right. Bye. And you guys, I'll see you tomorrow, I believe. Huh?
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.